This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Taiwan is interested in natural gas from Alaska and will continue to assess the feasibility of purchases, the Economy Ministry said on Monday, as the government looks to narrow the trade surplus with the United States and head off tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Friday he plans to announce reciprocal tariffs on many economies by this week, a major escalation of his offensive to reshape global trade relationships in ways he considers to be in America's favor. Taiwan runs a large trade surplus with the United States, which surged 83% last year, with the island's exports to the U.S. hitting a record $111.4 billion, driven by demand for high-tech products such as semiconductors.
Oil prices ticked higher on Monday even as investors weighed U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff threat, this time on all steel and aluminium imports, which could dampen global economic growth and energy demand. Brent crude futures climbed 54 cents, or 0.7%, to $75.20 a barrel by 0734 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $71.50 a barrel, up 50 cents, or 0.7%. The market posted its third consecutive weekly decline last week on concerns about a global trade war. Trump said he will announce on Monday 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports into the U.S., in another major escalation of his trade policy overhaul.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Chinese renewable energy stocks fell as much as nearly 4% after the market opened on Monday, following an announcement by the state planner and energy regulator on the scaling back of subsidies for renewable power producers. China's clean energy indexes, the CSI New Energy Index, SSE Star New Energy Index, and CNI New Energy Index, were down by 1.55%, 1.54% and 1.38%, respectively, as of 0601 GMT. Shares of clean energy-related companies dropped. Chinese solar producer Tongwei traded down 2.77% after losing nearly 4% earlier in the session.
The Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania completed a switch from Russia's electricity grid to the EU's system on Sunday, severing Soviet-era ties amid heightened security after the suspected sabotage of several subsea cables and pipelines. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen hailed the move, years in the planning, as marking a new era of freedom for the region, in a speech at a ceremony in Vilnius alongside the leaders of the three countries and the Polish president. These chains of power lines linking you to hostile neighbors will be a thing of the past, von der Leyen said. Next, we have the top news in metal market. U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to impose new 25% tariffs on all imports of steel and aluminium into the United States weighed on shares of producers in Asia on Monday as it threatened to disrupt trade flows in the metals. The tariffs, which Trump said would be announced on Monday and be in addition to existing duties, sparked warnings from steelmakers in Asia about the impact on prices, profitability and volumes, and broader worries that they could push up inflation and drag on economic activity. Canada, Brazil, Mexico, South Korea and Vietnam are the biggest sellers of steel into the U.S., according to government and American Iron and Steel Institute data, while Canada is the dominant supplier of imported aluminium.
Gold climbed more than 1% on Monday, as U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff plans heightened fears of a global trade war, fueling demand for the safe haven metal and pushing bullion prices to record highs. Spot gold was up 1.2% at $2,895.38 per ounce, as of 0758 GMT. Earlier in the session, bullion hit an all-time high of $2,896.35, marking its seventh record this year. U.S. gold futures also climbed 1.2% to $2,920.80. Trump announcing new tariffs is supporting inflation and growth concerns, lifting the yellow metal. We look for further price support, with gold heading to $3,000 per oz, UBS analyst Giovanni Stornovo said.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Malaysia's palm oil stocks fell more than expected in January to their lowest level in 21 months, even as exports dropped and imports rose, due to a plunge in output, data from the industry regulator showed on Monday. The drop in inventories in the world's second-largest palm oil producing country after Indonesia could support benchmark futures, traders said, following a sharp decline from their highest in about 2.5 years in November. Malaysia's palm oil stocks fell 7.55% in January from December to 1.58 million metric tons, the lowest level since April 2023, the Malaysian Palm Oil Board said.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.